Hello, welcome to another video. I've got a lovely guest today. Not too long ago, I think it was last weekend, wasn't it, Bochum? From the point of recording, I finished top 16 with Blue Steel, so I had to get him on to talk through the list. So, hello, Prymor.
Hello, Harlan. Thanks for having me.
Hello.
Yes, Bochum last weekend.
Yes, it was last weekend. Yeah. So yeah, great list. And whenever someone asks me about you and says, because your list you've got things like the One Tower, and I don't think there's a Rise of Titans in there. I always describe you as a old school Blue Steel player. Sort of the way it was in set three with the hooks and everything like that. But yeah, I'd love to hand it over to you and say sort of talk through the deck list and sort of what you think was good in there, what you think was bad in there, and just yeah, take it away if you can.
Yes, thank you. So, um, my list was decided pretty early for the tournament. I think 3 weeks before Bochum started, I was comfortable and knew what I was going to bring. And it ended up being this list you guys see in front of you. And there's some card choices which are probably questionable or which will need a bit more explanation. Let's start with like the lore threads, how we want to end the game. I am playing 2 bells, 2 aerials, and only 1 Tamator, and of course 2 lucky dimes. Um, I really like Bell in the deck because it opens up some early explosive lines with an early singer on the board, and you play Bell, your whole word can triple ink, sometimes with Quill on board in one turn, and just snowball the game from there. Bell also presents a pretty cheap lore threat that the opponent has to answer.
Mhm.
And of course, with luck in combination with Lucky Dime, you only need 13 ink to play Bell, Dime, and activate it for 5 floor gain. So that's really nice, and that's the reason why I am still including Bell in my list. For Ariel adds 2 copies, mostly for the red-blue matchup as well. I think Ariel is really underrated at the moment because I also like in basically every matchup except maybe red purple. I think in every matchup that we currently have or can expect to play against, Ariel does a lot of work. Against red purple, she sometimes doesn't do much, but overall, I think she's a great card. And I like to have at least 5 or 6 big lore sets with time. Then we get to like the main question probably for a lot of you guys watching, and that is the 1 Tamator. So I will say in the beginning, my decision for 1 Tamator is a playstyle decision, because I like to play the blue steel deck a bit more aggressive, a bit more focused on ball control. So in my games, in my tournament games, in my test games before Bochum, I felt like that I don't really go a lot of the times for a big Tamator item finish. I rather play for the board, do good trades, tempo my opponent out with the ink advantage, and then end the game with Bell or Ariel and Dime.
Mm.
This is the reason for 1 Tamator, but don't look at the list and think I would never play more than 1 Tamator. I think you can play from 1 copy to 4 copies. Everything has the reasoning to play more Tamators in the list. But I just needed the space
Mm.
in my deck.
Yeah.
That's like one of the main reasons because we can see I play 3 hooks still, which a lot of people are cutting and are not a big fan of it. I personally like Hook a lot. He of course doesn't do anything in the green steel matchup. There he's just ink, but the same goes for me as well in this matchup. Hook does really good against that purple, in my opinion, because you can play Hook on turn 1, Smee on turn 2, Mickey on turn 3. And then with this combo, you can instant kill the castle if you want. Another spot where I think Hook is a bit underrated is against Red Blue. Playing Hook on turn 1 against Red Blue most of the time gets you 3 lore because the opponent doesn't want to deal with it, doesn't want to spend the ink to deal with the Hook. So he can get some easy early lore.
Mm.
Another card, which is maybe not standard, but we are seeing in most lists now, is the Beast, Hard-Headed Beast for item destruction. It's of course good in the mirror, good against Red Blue, good against Steel Song Flutes to destroy the flutes, and also like a 5-cost singer that quests for 2.
Mm. I think
And
the last two questions I think
yes,
looking at the list is what I've got on my mind is McDuck Manor. Got to talk us through that as well, and No Rise of Titans, which appears in
yes,
most lists. So yeah, start with the McDuck. How's that performed?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm starting with McDeck Mana. Keep in mind that my list is tagged hard to beat Red Blue, like the 2 McDeck Mana and the 3rd copy of Let It Go and the Beast Hard-Headed are all cards that can really swing the Red Blue matchup around. Going into Bochum, I expected a lot more Red Blue to perform well, and also that a lot of people are playing Red Blue, which wasn't the case actually. I was a bit surprised
Mm.
because in the Swiss stage, I did not play against any Red Blue, but my top 64 matchup was against Red Blue. And once I knew what my opponent was playing, I was pretty happy because, especially with Make That Mana and the 3rd Let It Go, I felt very comfortable in
Mm.
this matchup. And I have to say, in my top 64 matchup, the Make That Manas won me 2 games by themselves.
Yeah.
They really overperformed in this matchup. And looking back, I would have not changed anything in my list, if I'm being honest, with my matchups I had.
Do you find the McDuck Manor shines anywhere else, or just the Red Ruby Sapphire matchup?
No,
No.
exactly. It's only the Ruby Sapphire matchup.
Mm.
This is the matchup where they shine. In all other matchups, there are some weird spots where they are good. I think in the mirror they can be actually pretty good,
Yeah.
but against Green Steel you never want to play them really. They are ink. You win the matchup two other ways.
Mm.
And against Red Purple, there can sometimes be good to not play into be prepared too much. But these are pretty narrow spots in different matchups, which would not be worth to include them for.
Mm.
But they are in the deck for the Red Blue matchup.
Yeah, brilliant. And sort of lack of Rise of Titans, and of course I test with you and play with you quite a bit. I don't think I've ever seen Rise of Titans float into any of your lists before.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Wrath of the Titans in set 3, early set 3, I also played them in my deck. But I think I just had a bad run of games where I top decked Rise of Titans
Yeah.
some games in a row in matchups where I didn't do anything at all. Um, so I cut them, and to be honest, I never looked back since then. Don't get me wrong, Rise of Titans is a good card and can swing matchups around,
Mm.
and it's just a playstyle preference if you play Rise of the Titans or not. For me personally, I think Wrath of Titans is mostly for the for the red purple matchup, and sometimes red blue can do some stuff. But mostly it's there in the deck to kill the opponent's castle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I've been toying of just playing one because it's not something you want to open with and deal with the first castle. As you say, you want to deal with it trading. But I play one. I
yeah,
like the idea that if I wheel, there's a chance I get this one-off card that's gonna just answer a castle in the later game. But two has
yeah,
always felt too much for me. And yeah, no, I'll wrap this up soon. But there's ways that I describe you as a sort of older school Blue Steel player. I know you've been on it, I think since set two.
yeah.
Yeah,
End of set 2, I started playing plus deal, yeah.
Yeah, and I find with because Tower was not a big choice in lists. When we started figuring out how good the dime was, I think we were going to the bells straight away, and I saw lists having three bells or so. But now you're finding lists with 3x, 4x towers, aren't you? And that seems to be the new approach to Blue Steel, is way more top heavy. Whereas before we had a relatively good early game, and you're still carrying on that with the Captain Hooks and the Smees.
Mm,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah, I agree actually. Yeah, I think especially with Mickey, there are some games like with the Mickey version compared to the one jump version. There are some games where you don't ink that high,
Yes. Yeah.
and where Tamator can't shine that much. And also in the current meta, it's kind of hard for Tamator to live a turn.
Yeah.
So it's really only good for if you build up a lot of items and then can just finish a game from 10 lord to 20 with a dime,
Yeah.
which of course is great and it's especially good in the red purple matchup. Um, so there are reasons to play one Tamator, to play four copies of Tamator. Um, at the end, it's really, in my opinion, it's the playstyle preference.
Yeah, yeah. I went to Four Towers for one game, and it was nice to wheel, play a bunch of items, wheel, find tower, dime, and tap him for. I think I got 11 lore one game. And that is a
Mm,
choice. But of course, as you say, if you get Hook out, Smee out, you can just get them questing and win that early game as well. So you can either go bottom heavy or top heavy quite a bit with Blue Steel. There is a bit of flexibility there. Yeah,
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 which I also like a lot about the deck.
yeah, yeah,
That
for sure.
you can switch up your game plan pretty
Mm.
quick.
And
You
I'm
can play
noticing.
control, you can play aggro.
Yes, I'm noticing with store champs, we run across a lot of aggro players, sort of maybe casual players, and I really miss a Captain Hook there. I really missed at turn one. I can stop their
Mm,
Maleficent or their Lilo. So yeah, that's definitely something to look at. But yeah, no, thank you very much for talking through your list and everything. And I believe you play for a team. Would you like to shout them out? Anything going on with your team?
yes, I'm playing for a German team. We are most of us live next to Aachen, Essen, and Düsseldorf.
Oh, okay.
So pretty big cities.
Yeah.
The team is called Team Secret Rare. And we are a team from, I think, 10 people, around 10 people, all German players at the moment, who all played in Lille and also in Bochum. And especially for testing, trying out ideas, support during a tournament, it's just a great thing to be in a team or
Yeah,
have
for sure. Yeah.
close testing partners. So big shout out to them. I don't think I would have made top 16 without the support.
Oh, wicked.
And
Yeah.
I hope the next in Bologna we will be able, or our team will be able to have the same success.
Yeah. Is everyone coming to Bologna then as well? Whole team?
I don't think our whole team is coming because Bologna is a bit more hard to reach than
Yeah,
Bochum
yeah,
was
for
for
sure.
us.
Yeah, a bit pricey.
But we will definitely have a presence there.
Ah, okay.
I also decided like this week that I'm going to Bologna, so I
Bologna,
also will
wicked.
be there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to Birmingham because
Ah,
I'm on holidays there,
that's
on holidays before.
you've already got your invite. Anything else is bonus,
Yeah,
isn't it? Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you
yeah.
for having us on. Thank you for having us on. Thank you for coming on and talking for your list and everything. Yeah, and good luck.